This is a very different format than the usual. With this almost feels like a college ragging back to Bombay days where half the seniors are waiting in line, others are already seated to enjoy the show and so on. But to talk about the journey, or the kind of different endeavors that I've been glad to get involved. She was also asking me, how do I find time? There are two main reasons. One is I was born into an extremely privileged background. Both my parents are bankers. My mother worked for Reserve Bank of India, retired as general manager. My dad used to work for Central Bank of India. And both of them, therefore, have very good pension and excellent medical coverage. So they don't expect their son and daughter to do anything for them, which is a tremendous advantage. Second, along the way, I decided not to get married, which means there is nobody to report back at home, or none of the other demands are being made on my time. This is the biggest secret behind being able to do multiple things, right? So if I think many of us, I mean, it's not that I'm not concerned about my parents, but many of us will have to take care of them medically, financially at a certain point of time. That takes away a lot of things and makes you very responsible financially. Secondly, if you have a family, wife, your own kids, understandably that must and should consume majority of the time. Because I had this advantage, I could try my hands at many things. Naturally, again, I was born into a privileged neighborhood. That's where I stay. And my neighbors happen to be people who were already in the IIT. So CDAC director Neelakandan sir was my neighbor. Both his son and daughter, Maya Neelakandan, was senior in school, St. Thomas. Before that I was in Chinmaya. And then Manu Neelakandan was immediate senior. He went to Roorkee. So right from 8th standard, this word of IIT, St. Thomas at that time used to be without coaching, but if you are a good student, this is the place to go. If you have the habit of fainting when you see blood, then medical science is not for you, which was my case. So engineering means you have to go to IIT and you get that kind of drill down, the typical 90s kids think that you do engineering properly. So I managed to get through JEE. I got all the ranks that I prayed for. First, second, third and fourth. My rank was 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you pray, be very careful. From Kumbhakarna's time onwards, you have to be extremely careful what you pray for.
God might grant.
Grant what you wish for. Yeah, this is like you pray for a kiss and then your recruiter as quizmaster. This is one of my recent developments. So always be very careful what you pray for. So I went, and then I went for counseling to Madras. IIT Madras, and naturally felt that the water was very bad. I still think so. Tomorrow I'm going there again. So I picked Bombay, where seniors were there. Very inspiring seniors. One of them, Abraham Thomas, was one of the guys who got a full score in GMAT after Robert McNamara and Thomas. He was the third person ever in the world to get a full score. At that time, it was not all multiple choice. So Thomas was there. He was doing engineering physics, from which he went into hedge fund managing in Japan. Now he's an extraordinarily wealthy guy. His company called Alternate Data got acquired by New York Stock Exchange. So they use alternate data to figure out economic movements. Things like number of cars parked outside Walmart versus number of cars parked outside Target, satellite image and data like that. So exciting people in my life. So I went to Bombay and since I had no idea what to do after getting JEE, I picked the most glamorous sounding engineering, aerospace engineering. Even now, I was telling them, most of the youngsters pick it thinking you are going to be a pilot or an air hostess and you can wear those wings and come. But in third semester, you understand that optimization and calculus is going in a very different route. Therefore, you need to struggle. But I stuck with it. Then naturally, at that time, if you went to IIT, and especially if you went to IIT Bombay, where the majority are from Andhra Pradesh and Telangana at that time, undivided, your next step had to be US. So I started looking at the universities where engineering was less, but rest of the sciences and arts were more, because IIT definitely had it. I used to write dramas, plays while in IIT. Everybody aspires to be a filmmaker when you are undergrad, I think. So at that time, no YouTube, so we could only write dramas. Then I went to Texas because they, first of all, made a very good offer in terms of scholarship and assistantship. Secondly, because they had a huge theatre school, hockey players, and a massive football stadium with, instead of cheerleaders, they had yell leaders. So I spent 11 years there. Again, because of the privilege, could have an extraordinarily long PhD. Nobody was asking me to graduate till the university said, this is the longest you can do without paying fees. So next semester I graduated. And then my sister, like me, she was also delaying getting married, but then family put the foot down. So she was getting married, I came back. So from then on, the story kind of becomes interesting, because everybody looks at you like a complete eccentric for having come back from the US after having PhD, and why come back to Trivandrum, why not Bangalore or Hyderabad? But one of the things I figured after being in campus for a very long time is that I love being on campus. And it helps, because every year new bunch of people come. The serious bunch of people will graduate and go. Only the fun people will remain on campus. And professors are very different in US than here. My academic advisor for my PhD used to come in a Lamborghini Diablo. So that was the first time I figured out professors can be extremely wealthy, and they could also be showmen. He was a drummer, and that band was my PhD committee. So this is not a joke. The drummer was my PhD advisor, the bass guitarist, the singer, they were all from different departments, mechanical, metallurgy. So they formed a very nice PhD committee. So getting through wasn't very difficult, but they were extremely strict academicians at that time. So when I was back, I wanted to try to create a campus similar to that. And luckily I met Dr. Thomas Alexander, who intended to get into education at that time. He's a construction guy from Oman. So he said, tell me the vision you have for running a college, and then we can decide. And see, at that time he was asking a 32-year-old guy who just returned, was wearing shorts while meeting him, none of the formality. So this is the interesting part which I wanted to say. When you set a vision, when you want to get into something, new project, the vision has to be very, very simple and very, very compelling, so that it makes you wake up every day and go to it without feeling like it's work. So for Trinity, see, if we get into an accident, if we are injured, or if we have some severe kind of sickness like Jodi out there, if you are not well, where do you go? Right? You might go to your local hospital, but invariably they'll refer you to medical college Trivandrum, right? But none of us think about it as a college. We all look at it as a great hospital. None of us are thinking it's a college, but it's a college. But if your mobile is not working, or if you want a piece of machinery for your home, none of you think of going to an engineering college. Because we have somehow separated engineering from engineering college. The people, the professors there are not necessarily good engineers. This was the problem. In a medical college, the professor has to be a doctor. And he has to train the next generation on real patients with real medicines. In India, it has always been so, traditionally. But we used to have apprentice training in engineering, in all branches of engineering, but that somehow disappeared when we created colleges and have exams. And when you buy hard lines of code, you can become a software engineer. And professors need not even know how to write code. They can still get an MTech degree. So I gave a very simple vision, saying to run an engineering college like a medical college. So he understood the importance of that. At that time, Dr. KCC Nair had just started the Technopark Technology Business Incubator, which later became the Kerala Startup Mission and so on. So we used to go to different colleges to talk about entrepreneurship. Some of you might have been in college at that time. So we give this very inspiring speech. And after we go, the principal will come and say, such fellows will come, they'll give such speeches. You have Infosys and TCS coming tomorrow. Don't think of startups and things like that. And there used to be another problem at that time. There was a social problem. This is 2012-13. In 2012-13, barely this startup, word had entered the public consciousness. So we used to have this interesting phenomena where startup founders cannot get married. Nobody will allow their daughters to marry a startup founder, but they are okay to marry employee in the startup. Because of the steady salary, correct? You want to have monthly salary is important. No matter who is paying it, the paying guy will be in paid. So we used to face such things at that time and go around talking. And then I figured it was a last link failure. We will go and talk about startups so kids are inspired. And he said he had listened to me in IEDC talks as well. Very thrilled. Tonight we'll start up. And then this professor will come to class. And he'll remind you about the attendance and the examination, everything coming up. So I figured if we wanted to make anybody entrepreneurs, so we'll start with the faculty. So in Trinity, we started with faculty entrepreneurship. And that became a very reasonable success. Many of them took the bait. Obviously, naturally, half of them will fail, but the other half became quite big. One of our mechanical engineering HOD at that time, Jimmy Bendix, he now has 3 buildings here in Anera. Runs CNT engineers who run very, very good MAP projects. Adani Airport is CNT engineers. The Qatar football stadium was CNT engineers. I remember Yamal oil field was done in Trinity College. So once there was that opportunity, we told them you will get your steady salary as a professor. You have the free manpower coming in. Nobody will bother you. Use all the college facilities. So many of them took it. And then we went one step ahead and had a company on campus. So Trinity had the first engineering business sitting within campus. We now have 75 engineers working. So when the students come, they see what a real engineer does, including the ID card and punching in, punching out. So they are not concerned, even it never enters their realm that they should go and do some other random job. They know what engineering entails, what are the facilities provided, what difference you can make to the world. So I think it all came from that very simple thing about running an engineering college like a medical college. So similarly, whenever we are able to set our vision very clearly for a project or a mission or a company, then it works. Usually nowadays what I noticed in startup is that they get carried away by or whatever ChatGPT can generate. So the business plans are very big, very elaborate, the financial plans are huge, very detailed, but the drive has to come from something very simple that usually doesn't happen. So when COVID struck, in the middle I had a couple of spectacular failures. We tried to run a bank coaching center. Thoroughly uninspired attempt because the market was there. And like I said, my mother was in Mr. Bank, so these 3 extraordinarily gentlemen who I still call uncle because they knew me from my birth and I grew up around them. They were all retired and looking for doing something to serve the society and things like that. But that's not a driving vision. They were just trying to spend their expertise and spare time, which is not a very good way. So this is what I usually meet with people who are in IT companies but are toying with the idea of starting up. It's not a full-time thing that they'll get into, evenings, weekends, but that won't give you that kind of a drive unless you are something like, Phil Knight of Nike. He was working full-time as an accountant, then he started designing shoes, taking them to tracks, selling them. It takes a long time. So I had a couple of failures at that time, and then COVID came. Before that, one day, the actress Inia, she showed up on campus, introducing herself as Shruti Sawant, which is her real name. She said she wanted to shoot a music video. It's still there on YouTube called Mia. And then she introduced me next day to the director. And he happened to be a very young man with very short beard called Dr. Mahesh. So they shot the video and I became friendly with Dr. Mahesh. And then because his house was in Neymam, once in a while we'd meet on the road. And 2020, when COVID came, all the gyms shut down. One day casually I told him, what can I do? I'm jumping around on the terrace unscientifically, trying to control the weight because it's only me and my mother at home. Food is excellent, this is not helping. So then he said, I have a Kalari at Neymam, why don't you come? So I went to the Kalari. And at that time, then he told me, 125 years old, we train for free. That's what happens, what can you do? Can we try to make it online? Teach Kalaripat. That time it feels like swimming through post, right? Kalaripat, unheard of idea. And then he surprised me even more by saying, you can start at any age. My understanding was if you don't get into the train by the time you're 10, 11, 12, you're finished. There is no 40 or 40th birthday is coming up, why don't you start? So myself and a few friends, we were the first guinea pigs of online Kalari training through Zoom. And it turned out to be a spectacular success in the last 5 years. So there again, our vision was teach Kalari to everybody, especially girls and women for self-defense. So very simple vision, which is unending mission. So that helped. We went online, and now we have a franchise deal with William Soman was here in Toronto for the first time to shoot for that, Kalari by Agastya. Around 13,000 girls we have trained in self-defense. Kalari has regular 1,000 students, online and offline, multiple centers. We train in Technopark as well, UST, Axia, Binoy Merat, the CEO of Istio and Central Head. He managed to do double Urumi as well. Incredible dedication and learning. And Colonel Sanjeev Nair, CEO of Technoparks, said before his term is over, he'll ensure that there is a Kalari in Technopark. So the construction is going on. So this is this year we added that to our Kaiga Mela also, schools. I mean, imagine the oldest martial art in the world, the mother of all martial arts, had to wait till 2025 to get into Kerala school meet. That's a big change. So nationally we got supported. Government of India had this Indian Knowledge System Center. We applied for funding. Trinity College got it. We conducted studies in schools about resilience. Way back in 22, we went to Delhi to perform Kalaripat at the AICTE, which those who have been in engineering college will remember AICTE approves all the engineering college. So they had a very nice stage, wooden flooring, and they asked us to perform Kalari. So we told them we'll leave our marks anyway, with the urmi and everything on the floor. But we were also afraid of slipping. And what we were afraid of really happened. So at that time, Gopika and Raga, Gopika's photograph is there in yesterday's newspapers. She won the first gold medal in the school meet. She's in +2 now. At that time, she was in 9th, Raga was in 11th. So they do sword and shield and then slipped. So Gopika cut Raga's ear with the sword. But she continued the performance, finished, did the Guru Vandana, then we took her to AIMS. She had all the stitches done at her ear. So next day, this was an education conference. So next day, the discussion was how can a girl, 15 years old, get cut in the ear with a sword in front of someone, continue to perform, and then very gradually, very calmly go. Whereas usually, you see a cockroach in the bathroom, you're fainting and running, you're afraid of silly things. So there they realized resilience comes from Kalaripat, from martial arts. So we got a research funding to do that, which we did in 2 private, 2 aided, in 2 government schools. And quite emphatic results about the self-efficacy that comes as part of martial arts training. And if you go back and read in literature history, you'll understand we had a tradition, right, of wearing urumi as our belt. 6-year-old, 7-year-old boys and girls were all sent to Kalaris. So flexibility of the body came first. before you were taught all the other subjects that were important. And there was also a theory that Kandallur Shala in Trivandrum was destroyed by Rajaraja Cholan because we were teaching Kalaripayat along with all the other subjects. So dangerous scholars were coming out, people who, and there. So that again was a very simple vision to work on, continuously inspiring. Quite even now every day Kalari news is always exciting about the new heights which it was going. So I'll stop with one more story and then we'll open up. This is about the Watson Football Academy. Last year Combens started playing in Trivandrum. So I and my friend Terence Alex used to go and watch. Terence runs the Watson Renewable Energy. So we used to go, we saw 5 foreigners, 5 from Brazil are playing for Trivandrum Combens. We thought, what happened to our people? Very active football players in school. So Terence used to play for the state. So then we looked at, people usually come up with the usual reasons why Indians don't have endurance. Maybe the Indian physique is not suited for football. But look at cricket. We are number 1. Look at hockey. So this has to do with something else, something fundamental at the grassroots level. So we figured at the grassroots level, at school level, scientific things are not happening. The coaching is haywire, everybody is doing their own thing. We play with any available coconut instead of the ball. Injury is a permanent problem. So we asked a lot of experts, when can we expect India to play in World Cup? The Indian ranking right now is 130. You have to be in the top 20. So when can we do that? And everybody said it may not happen. So we set ourselves a goal. 2042, right? 16, 15 years. 2042 World Cup is in England. And we thought, okay, India can go and play there. What should we do? So we thought we should run an academy that has 1 lakh students in 100 cities around the world. Very simple, but totally tough vision. But we got about doing it, and we thought we'll have a decentralized, distributed coaching. Not bring everybody to one academy and try to do it, but go to turfs, go to schools, take our syllabus, and supply coaches who are qualified. So we launched last December. Now we are quite active in Trivandrum. We have 3 schools. We train in 2 turfs. We also train in the Technopark turf, the football area at the entrance, mornings, Saturday, Sunday. But our coaching is only for 4-year-olds to 12-year-olds. Okay, and tomorrow I am going to Chennai to launch the Chennai branch. So within 1 year we managed to scale to Chennai, and in Paripalli there is a ECR sports city that's getting inaugurated. So I hope in the next 10 years we can make a difference to football coaching, because it's very active now. The Super League Kerala, you should see in Malappuram and Kozhikode the kind of response. Trivandrum, the number of people who come are less, but the energy is still very high. I'm hoping for a day in which one of the viral videos that talks about a boy who is a ball boy now, his mother was interviewed and she wants him to play. That's in our academy, that boy. And she's a gynecologist who comes only because the son loves to play so much. So we are sending our kids to be the escorts and ball boys so that they get to be on the ground, get to see the atmosphere. Because I believe in perfect practice is the best way to do. Any kind of simulation has its own limitation, any kind of scale down. You cannot become a good golfer by playing putt-putt golf. Tiger Woods became what he is because his dad used to take him to a golf course directly. So if you play in 5s and 7s, there is a limit to how much you can play in a proper football ground. So perfect practice, feeling it in the real environment is very important. The younger you start doing that, you'll feel better. So this is basically what I want to share in terms of story. So I'll end with one more thing. Usually when I go for startup summits and all, people ask me, how do I set up so many different businesses? The simplest and truthful answer is because of other people. None of this is me. I have managed to have very good friends who are very good in things they do, and then they want to make it into an enterprise, so I managed to help. So without Thomas Alexander Sir, there is no Trinity College. Without Dr. Mahesh Gurukal, obviously no Agastyan Kalari. Without Arun Surendran, there is no. So similar to that, without Heman Joseph, there is no ANSI cybersecurity solutions. So my luck continues to be that I managed to find really genius people who are thoroughly inspired, and I just have to go with the flow. So I think with that, yeah, the power of other people is just too much. It's very, very important to recognize that and be grateful every day.
I believe learning Kalari fight or some other kind of martial arts. So if you haven't met, you met Mahesh, and through Mahesh you learned Kalari, right?
Yes.
So if you haven't met him, which martial arts or which kind of the thing that makes us healthy and stronger, and what kind of martial arts would you choose?
Very, very difficult, hypothetical question. Well, I used, like I said, I was going to the gym. I love walking. So, and again, my walking routine is very, very long. I live in Vellambalam, but I walk all the way to East Fort, Padmatirtham, Padmanabhaswamy Temple, and come back. That's 13 kilometers. But I love the city. So every day, every alternate day when I walk, the flex boards change, the things change. It becomes more of a fun thing rather than an exercise. So very slow stroll, which was keeping me quite healthy. It still continues to. But martial arts was never in my consciousness. So this was a matter of luck. But now I know, once I have gotten introduced, and this year we are finishing a course on martial arts traditions of India. So Kalaripayat, just to give a background, there are two types. Tekkan Kalari and Vadakkan Kalari. Tekkan is what we do here, and Agasthyar is the Paramaguru. Vadakkan is Parashurama Paramaguru. Vadakkan is where you have the Padinettadavu and then you pass the syllabus and you can go and become your own Gurukul and things like that. Tekkan never ends. You have Kuttuvarisai, Adimurai, Silambam, all the southern Tamil Nadu mixed things. And you run towards the Marma thing. And Marmam is where the ultimate thing lies, but they will never teach you till you have trained for 12 years and so on. So now, because we did this course, I know all these exist. And Malkham is very big in Maharashtra, Mardani Khel. There is Squay in Jammu Kashmir. And Squay, I think championship, there is a Squay association in Kerala, and they have sent 6 or 7 kids now to compete in indoor. Every state has a martial arts. So, and now every state's martial art is represented in Kerala. So you can take your pick, whether you want slow moving one or heavy duty one, hardcore sweaty ones, or without weapons, with weapons. So that choice is always there. I will still stick to Kalaripayat because I'm familiar with it. And it's the mother of all martial arts. Whatever else you need to do, the basics has been from Kalaripayat. So I think
I'm very fascinated about the tourism and all. And foreigners are more fascinated. They want to know the taste of India.
Yeah.
And do you think that the Kalaripayat can have somehow connected with tourism?
yes, we already are doing it. There is a residential program here in Agasthyam, and there are programs in other parts of Kerala also. Punyatangam is there in Kannur, quite famous. Our residential program here, around 30 people are there every month. They come for a week, 2 weeks, 1 month stay. Families come together. We have a mother and son from Russia who are here now. They were there last year. They've come back again like for a refresher course. There is a software engineer from Orissa. So he comes every 3 months, and he comes, I mean, there is Wi-Fi and you are provided all the things. So except for the morning and evening training, you get the free time to do your work as well. So tourism that way, I think, because everybody, whenever the picture of Kerala is presented, it's Kathakali, Mohiniyattam, Kalaripayat. So people already have the visual cue about that. And right now the infrastructure is good. Our Kalari's residential program runs in Chinmaya Vidyalayas residential territory. So it's a collaboration there as well. And we have caretakers, and the food requirements and all are taken care of there itself. So I think more and more Kalaris in Thrissur and Kannur are already doing it. And because Kalaripayat is the only martial arts which has a treatment system, you get the Ayurvedic element as well. When you are a tourist, you feel like the Kalari massage is there, Kalari Chikitsa is there. So that also, you get a taste of that.
Heard your story, you meet all these people, for example, Thomas Alexander, and that opens way to the Trinity College, Mahesh and Kalari Paital. So you meet a lot of people, you see those open doors, you go in, you explore, and you find a path. That's how you're having a feast in your life. So many different dishes served for you every single day, right? But I think most of us, all of us have similar opportunities. We do meet people, but we close the doors ourselves, or we don't explore. So what makes you do it? If you could talk a little bit about it, I think it applies to everyone.
There is a new, one of the things about me is that I read a lot of books, especially whatever modern books, Anup and Chitrasen are there. Their recommendation list is much better than anything that Amazon can do, because they know the taste. We have a small community there where we recommend books to each other. So I leave this copy for Vijay Kumar sir to take and things like that. So one of the latest books that I found very interesting is called Primal Intelligence by Angus Fletcher. He is professor of story in University of Ohio, I think. I might be mistaken. But he's a professor who works on stories and storytelling. And what is a story narrative that all of us have about ourselves? And his interviews are there on YouTube. He works with the US Special Forces, because there the leadership is not about degrees or mathematics or anything, but purely to do with how are those people managing crisis after crisis. So the difference he talks about is between probability and possibility. And very simply he puts it as probability is dependent on the past. You calculate on the basis of what has happened in the past, and based on that you will create a probability of you met somebody. What is the probability of something working out? You always work, oh, this is very similar to that, and you come up with a probability. But possibility is completely about the future. And our reading of other people, we mentioned Alexa, Mahesh Pirkal and Terence. I have met thousands of other people with whom nothing happened. We made attempts, but they fizzle out. But because the possibility is what we are always looking at. It's possible. Something might be possible. And then you figure out, okay, now probably it's not going to work out. So there you backtrack. So it's always important to have good organizations that you are part of. For me, it has been Young Indians, though I am now out because after 45 they'll chuck you out, but you still wear the t-shirt and go anywhere. And we created a new association called YA Next, so that till you die you can call yourself Young Indian. So Young Indians is a community in which every Monday we come together, interact, have the possibilities. Binoy is part of Young Indians, Gigi, Axia, part of Young Indians. So 10, 12 years ago, we all knew each other. Right? And when we were in our struggling days, opening days, still struggling, but we knew that there can be support systems that will help us. So when you, always keep it open to me. I took the invitation and came here because, in reflections, there are potential and possibilities of meeting great people who will have great ideas, who might be interested in pursuing things in the future. So every meeting can open a door. Follow-up is very important, which people don't do. Especially the new generation, they assume. Right? Yesterday, I was dealing with a mini crisis in a company because one of the senior persons they had approached for help for something, now suddenly it looked like he was very angry. So they called me and said, can you please talk to him, what happened? He introduced. So I called him, and very plainly he said, see, they sent me one email. After that, now they are sending another email saying everything is done. Thank you. Can you come and be guest for this? So he was asked, where is the Maryada? Why was I told about other things? So the younger person on the other side had absolutely no clue this had to be done. Right? It's not a carnivore syndrome or anything. But when you are involved in something, there is a generation that expects to be updated, not be given the final thing in the end. So these is about follow-up. So I have a lot of people on my WhatsApp. I have disconnected all the other social media now. I only WhatsApp. But WhatsApp, even if it's a happy Diwali or something that they're celebrating, when something, don't blindly broadcast. Have a personal touch. be aware of their personal interest, talk to them. That's the only way to build relationship. We have all become broadcasters, including me. At this point, you are just saying your story without, promoting yourself, without ever thinking on the other side. But without follow-up, no business will work. So a client has to become. I keep giving the example that all Indians are trained to be great entrepreneurs because we are fed on the Bollywood love stories, at least those in the 90s and 2000s. Because basic love story is you meet this young woman in college and suddenly all the sparks fly, but you are afraid to tell her. So you go around singing songs, but keeping track of what she's doing, what she likes, right? And then, try to appear in the peripheral vision, smiling here and there, but in your imagination, everything is getting done. And then comes one festival or a college festival or something where you happen to suddenly come and help, but you wish them on festivals and things like that. And then finally that opportunity comes when you can provide help selflessly, which you do, and then they appreciate it, and then you start working out a relationship. But all the while they have been watching you to see if you are consistent, if you will be around, if you are reliable, resourceful, and so on. What's the difference between a business? None of us are directly sending a proposal to the client, right? We'll just, initially it's Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and this and that, and then we keep following their updates. And there'll be one point where reflections can pitch in and help a new acquisition that they made. That's when we get in. It's not about, I have sent you an email, so now forget about it. So that communication always is important, the follow-up.
What can we expect from the next version of Arun, now that, you're out of young India, you're in young India next?
No, senior India. Like I said, now till 2042 is quite far away. So I'm very happy to go on adding football clubs and football coaching. And we are designing session plans. And it's fascinating to see the 4 to 6 year olds in action, because their vocabulary has changed drastically. It's only when words enter the vocabulary that people start imagining the possibilities, right? It can be a good way, in a bad way. There is this guy who lives right next to the turf. So we actually lift him down from his house and he comes to the turf. So one fine day he came and told me, "You called me boss." So after that, ever since I've been calling him a boss. So he responds very happily, "Boss." When the ball reaches his foot, he is not ready to play the ball, but automatically a running commentary starts from him. Because he has seen so many highlights in football games. So the ball reaches, he says, "Ronaldo." And then after the ball boy, but Ronaldo was ready. And then even if the ball goes, Ronaldo is doing somersault and doing the finish and this and that. So we have to understand how things enter our mindset. I'm pretty sure I'm standing here as multiple versions because somewhere in my childhood something must have influenced me. We don't know. There's no time for psychoanalysis and doing this and that. But those kids, they are growing up in a very, very different world. And my biggest luck is I get to keep interacting with these kids. So college also, there used to be a mad rush for UK, Canada, Ireland. Signing recommendation letters was the big thing. Now they are much more happier to be around at home, have the safety and things like that. Relationship status have so drastically changed. So I don't know what the next step would be, but whatever it is, we are living in one of the most exciting countries in society, and especially Kerala. To be here with the safety and security that provides, plus all the natural beauty, phenomenal food, and we should all be grateful every single day. Like you mentioned, the sadhya is there ready for Malayali every day. Keep interacting with people younger than yourself all the time, and that will keep you young.
So what is your take on AI, and especially you are along with a lot of kids I mean, not a lot of kids, but young graduates, especially those graduates from engineering college. So what is your take on especially Gen Z and this AI?
Gen Z is obviously much smarter than AI. I am an AI skeptic at this point. I love AI. I mean, I created an ad for Tumba.ai, which is Test House's new product. I wrote the script and voiced it in there. That's a very specific artificial intelligence engine, and I like examples where people are using it for very specific purpose, where the domain expertise is there with the team. I am very, very skeptic about what kids are doing with this, randomly asking questions. So today my status is one of the quotes from Twitter which says, any expert who has worked with AI immediately recognizes it's an idiot. But unfortunately, there are not many experts in the world. So, for example, I can tell you about Kandalur Shala Rajaraja Cholan. It's one of my favorite topics about history of education in Trivandrum. So back 2 years ago, when ChatGPT came, I asked, why did Rajaraja Cholan attack Kandalur Shala in Trivandrum? So immediately, with Shashi Tharoor level of fluency, it said Rajaraja Cholan never came to Trivandrum. So I had my chance. So I said, that's so stupid of you. Rajaraja Cholan came to Trivandrum. Immediately it said, of course, Rajaraja Cholan came to Trivandrum. So then I asked, now why did Rajaraja Cholan? And then you must be familiar with this, no? Rajaraja Cholan came to Trivandrum for the following reasons: political, economical, financial, military. Where is this utter bull coming from? So once you know the history of, my favorite question to any AI-related speech that I'm making now is, I ask everybody, why is artificial intelligence called artificial intelligence? Okay, I'll put a question to all of you. Why is AI called AI?
Because it is artificially made.
Okay, so this is the standard answer that I get. But once again I say, but the mudra sadhikaram. The question is, why is AI named AI? Okay, again, but now I'll ask separate question.
Because it's artificial.
See, this is, again, so now I'll change the question. Why is Deepa called Deepa?
My parents named me so.
Correct. That's all. This is the correct answer.
Somebody
Couple of Americans had the intelligence to figure out, if you keep calling it cybernetics, nobody will fund it. So they said, this is McCarthy and the team in Dartmouth College. They said, like in our, startup language, artificial intelligence. So the moment they named it, without asking a question, Malayalam is translating it as Nirmita Buddhi. Without understanding it's a software, it's a mathematically driven thing. The moment you named it intelligent, all of us are seeing a lot of intelligence, love, consciousness, this, that, all human traits coming in there. So when you understand what's going on behind it, yesterday I finished an article about nuclear energy. It said MIT has done a study on AI, energy consumption. So they are saying average use of AI, like us, for example, if you are wanting to design a brochure and put an image in there, it consumes at the data center side equivalent energy of running your microwave at home for 3 hours. This is one person, random average use is 3 hours of microwave. Gigawatts and gigawatts. Today is Madhubhumi Webinivesham, they have shown that photograph. Meta's data center is coming, already the water table is finished. So you are consuming gigawatts of energy, drinking gallons of water and churning out Rajaraja Cholan never came. So this is the contrast. So when Reflections is getting into it, if it's in your domain, pure, where you have all the backup knowledge, this can, reading user manuals and all, superb job. Make it only read the manual. We were developing an AI engine for Katakada, our constituency. So IB Sadish sir had asked. So we said, see, we'll need all the authentic documents of Katakada. It will work only on that as a textual thing. So then he came and said, but then you are asking, it's a very expensive thing what you're asking, why don't we just plug it into a... So I showed him, if you plug it into a regular thing, everything it turns out will be politically incorrect. It will be very easy to ask it questions and make it say things against the government, against the MLA. It's simple. So we have to clearly understand the limitations of the technology, make sure we are in control of what is coming out of it, and then always double check. So that's the AI. And Gen Z is quite safe. It's that they are using different language, they are using different perception of the world in terms of how it needs to be operated. I don't think Gen Z is really interested in graduating and getting a job and going ahead with our standard template of have kids, get married, have kids, go through the midlife crisis, then start doing charity and things like that. They are in a totally different world of plenty, and never having been through crisis of hunger or worry about insecurity or anything. So it's a very, very different world that they come from, and I can see that in the 4 to 6 year olds.
In entrepreneurship, the landscape is fast changing because this AI is big role play. So what's your view or message to start entrepreneurship in 25, 26?
When you have a clear vision and expertise in your field, now AI can help you set those things very easily. Language in Trinity College, we are in a rural area. So my leave letter and excuse application forms used to be very funny to read. The kids were struggling. Most of it were coming in Malayalam. But after ChatGPT, by God, it's pages and pages of unnecessary leave letter. With a lot of respect for me in first paragraph, the serious severity of the incident in the second paragraph, the request in third paragraph. So that language barrier is broken. And even with our Jugalbandi system, where it's okay if you don't know English, it's okay if you don't know French, you can still talk to a French investor now. You can prepare these documents very fast. Only thing is you should double check. ChatGPT does not know mathematics. Okay, so there will be zeros missing, very crucial zeros missing. When you prepare a business plan, please go double check all the numbers. Make sure you have an understanding of how much fund you're asking, why you're asking. But language-wise, as a secretary service, this is very, very useful. So I think more and more entrepreneurs will come into the mainstream funding area. But nowadays, everybody wants to plug in AI, right? We can also say Watson Football Academy, AI coaching. Then there will be more. There is an AI apartment in Trivandrum. What does that even mean? But that's the appeal, because we used to have this blockchain hype. If you look for the hype cycles, you'll clearly see which technologies are coming, where the bubble will go, how it will burst, and so on. So I think the next will be a wellness bubble after AI bubble, because when the AI bubble bursts, there will be a lot of people with mental agony and financial problem. So the next would be a wellness bubble, where we'll have tablets and quick exercises, learn calorie in 24 hours will come. Everything will, so learn to have your vision, your clarity. Use all these services as secretarial services, which will help you quickly get to your goals. Thank you.
We live in a stage where this conversation and reading is all decreasing because there's a lot of things going on in our professional life. So that intent of that reading skills has been decreasing is what I understand. And then the amount of conversations that's happening also is reduced. Because just to take an example of our reflections, we sometimes have remote working also. There also that conversation decreases. It's all just professional matters. So what is your take on that?
The decrease in reading is a very, very dangerous trend, and I keep telling my students, ultimately you will have to read legal documents. We have all been trained to go and agree to these reams of paper in software, any app you install, nobody is reading it. But your real life cannot be that. Any contract you sign, you cannot later on come and say, I never read through, I was signing it. So that reading is even more dangerously boring reading, legalese. So if you are not trained in reading, okay, you can ask ChatGPT to voice it, but at least hear it. You might have different kind of inputs that works better. But if you don't read, and I'm aware of dime a dozen books coming out which are all ChatGPT generated. So find out the worthwhile readers who are doing long, unreadable, so-called unreadable writing, where how to structure your thought. I believe the increase in violence in our society has come from a lack of vocabulary. Because Changmura, Ramanan, when you had an affair fail, we used to write brilliant poetry, great songs, and Parikutti was singing along the shore. Now there is acid and beating and throwing, it's just violence. Because you don't have the vocabulary to deal with these things. It's very serious. So this affects suppose you lose your job. What's the reaction now? Everybody puts up a status because you cannot write more than what a status or a tweet allows you to. There is no way you can sit down and reflect on what's happening in your life, which has led to that decision. So that production of words will come only when there is input of words, which is where reading and listening have become very important. I was recently talking to Brahmaputran of Alive. The Alive is the assisted community old age living here. So Putran was saying, a lot of old people come and tell me they have a very healthy lifestyle. They wake up in the morning, go for a walk in Kanagakuna, come back, read Manorama paper, have the tea, then have breakfast, read some more, take a nap, lunch, read more, evening go for a walk. He says this is a recipe for dementia because it is only consumption. You have to talk. You have to produce words. Half of the brain is ready for that. It needs that. There's a wonderful book called Reclaiming Conversations and all. Conversation is extremely uncomfortable, right? You don't want to pick a phone call and call somebody when you can simply send a message, because that's only 15% of the communication. Coming in front of people, telling them face to face is very, very difficult. But that's what the brain is meant to do. So we have to reclaim, and this is a wonderful thing that all of you are in your comfort space. I am the only one in the uncomfortable space. You have things to latch on to, bend over, hold on to, and all. But see, this is very important as a beginning, to ask questions, and perfectly fine to say we don't know the answer to some things, we are exploring some things, but do talk. And partly education system is to blame, because from LKG we have been told to silence, keep quiet. So we kill the silence, and then we are afraid that death is the ultimate silence. So some people never stop making noise. Some people quietly live their life thinking that is a sign of intelligence. Not anymore.
Looking back, you have taken many decisions which are successful. So I want to know.
Many unsuccessful will never speak.
Yeah.
You will never know.
Okay, I just want to know that was the decisions more logical or emotional, or how you take that decision for steps?
Again, I'll go back to that Primal Intelligence book where he says we have only 4 tools to work with. One is intuition, then imagination, emotion, and common sense. So when emotion and common sense don't match, you have a problem. Logic is a very human construct. I mean, Bertrand Russell very famously said, we will be very advanced civilization when you can read statistics and weep. I don't think that's ever going to happen. That level of maturity where somebody says 62% are poor, we feel crying. We will feel bad when we are shown a face. We know the story of somebody. So all the decisions are emotional. In my case, at least, I can guarantee everything is emotional. After that, because of all the BTech, MTech, PhD training, I can rationalize it and tell you a lot of logic behind my decision. But decisions ultimately are emotion-based. You might submit the best proposal to a client, but if the client, when he comes here, feels uncomfortable, then that proposal is never going to work. No matter how logical and wonderful it is, the feeling is very, very important. So Charles Darwin You can search this thing. Darwin has a very famous old Excel file type thing where he was debating whether to get married or not. So he had the pros list and the cons list, and then ticking off, providing weightage to these things. He already had decided what to do. This is all gimmick to satisfy yourself, and in case somebody else is asking, you need some kind of explanation that you are a very intelligent person as opposed to emotional person. Whereas I believe emotional person is extremely intelligent. Otherwise motherhood wouldn't work, right? Pure emotion has to work there, and that's the highest form of intelligence. Thank you.
Just curious, who are your favorite authors, fiction?
I have very strange reading habits of, I pick non-fiction English and fiction Malayalam. So Bashir and VKM, complete works, reading and rereading them is very useful. Most recently at Modern Books, I met E. Santosh Kumar, who won the Vylar Award this time. So he autographed and gave me Tavo Maidachan, his new novel. Next day he got Vylar Award, so I have a lucky charm in terms of if anybody gives me a book, potential of award is always there. But it's a very decent work, I would say, which keeps you enticed with all the Indus Valley script probably getting deciphered, whereas it tells the story of refugees. So Santosh has written so many books, very bright future he has. But nobody can beat that kind of humor.
I think you have already focused on your future on setting a mission to a wellness bubble. So, actually I have read some about .com bubble,
yes.
And then I have a mission that there will be an AI bubble or something
yes.
like that. So, you have actually said that there will be an AI bubble, and then you predicted the wellness bubble. Thank you for the information.
Thank you.
So I think we are good to wind up. Thank you everyone. Thank you Dr. Arun. Your answers were truly inspiring and gave us a lot to think about. Now let us listen to a few words from our own guiding force, our CEO, Deepa Sarajomal. I welcome Deepa.
Thank you, Arun, for coming here and spending this time with us. I already knew Arun for the past few years through my friends. I've interacted with him. I've gone to Trinity College. I've seen what he has built there. I know about the Kalari initiative that he has taken. So I knew about him. But today, standing here, listening to you, Arun, you narrating your own story and looking at all the things that you have laid your hands on, you are a special soul, a miraculous soul in search of something. I'm going philosophical today. Why would someone lay their hands on so many things? I think your soul is in search of something. You're going and searching everywhere. I think very, very special soul and very inspiring. And I like the daily feast that you have. I like the statement you said, vision has to be simple. We always misuse the word strategy and vision and things that no one can accomplish. No, it is very simple thing. Set your eyes on it, run towards it. That's what you have done. And I already mentioned exploring all the doors that open before you. Just try, see if it leads to something. If not, come back, try another door. I think that's something that I will take away from this. And the impact that you have made, I don't know if you realize or not, but the impact that you have made to thousands of people. You said teaching self-defense to thousands of girls. I'm sure it has made a difference in their life. Teaching students in your college, right? Bringing the engineers there, giving them that a taste of what engineering is like, changing their vision. So you're trying and you're impacting the football initiative that you have taken, being part of so many organizations and spreading good messages. So I think you're impacting lives. Finally, at the end of our lives, if we count what we did, I think you've already done a lot, and I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot more for you from you, Arun.
Thank you.
And as I step into, my older age, I'm also not young Indian anymore. So, I look forward to associating with you, on things that are, common interest between us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deepa. I now invite Deepa to give Dr. Arun our token of gratitude.
Thank you.
Thank you so
very
much,
much.
Arun.
Thank you. The frame.
Frame, you want to open and see?
I've already seen Sharada ma'am's video.
Oh, okay, so you know what to.
I guess what's good.
I think we should have surprises.
No, but obviously I don't know exactly how this is going to look, so.
Okay.
Wonderful. Yes, of course. Thank you. Very nice. Who does this?
This team here,
Wonderful.
and they used AI.
Yeah, I know. So I have more hair, but from the same photograph. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
I welcome Nikhil for the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of all of us, I take this opportunity to express our gratitude to Dr. Arun for sharing the insights, the life experience, and all the knowledge. He was truly inspirational. I thank you, Deepa, the organizations, and the participants, both offline and online, for making this event engaging and insightful. Once again, and thank you, Dr. Arun. It's been truly honor to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.